So it's just going to be me and you till maybe Artie gets here?
Yeah, it might be a handoff. I think that's kind of the plan.
Ooh.
Because, if you'll pardon the expression. Here, I'll put it in football terms. It's just like the double.
Start.
It's just like the double. No, we've already started. It's just like the double laterals that your Miami Dolphins did in a game last Sunday. It was amazing.
My Miami Dolphins?
Well,
when have I ever lived in Miami?
No, it's like that's what they. That's kind of classic sports broadcaster talk. Last Saturday, your Chicago Cubs took on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, that makes sense for you because you're from Chicago. They're not my Miami Dolphins.
Are they your New York Jets or your New York Giants, or you don't care enough?
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
They're not yours. Really, if you got a chance to go to an NFL game, have you gone to any NFL games?
What is that supposed to mean? What?
No. It's not judgment. I'm just asking because
it is judgment. Just because I sit here all day and draw and I don't do any sports things, that's judgy.
Yeah, but you got friends, and New York is a great sports town, and I'm asking.
I've been to all the.
Okay, really? Have you even hockey?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Rattle off the teams that you've seen live.
Jets, Giants, Islanders, Devils, Rangers, Mets, Yankees.
See, that's a lot of sports, sir, for someone who isn't very sports-minded. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I got to be honest with you.
I don't know. I find it offensive. I find it offensive that just because I'm an art guy, you think I don't know sports.
No, not at all, dude. Are you kidding me?
Are we recording?
We're totally wrong.
Are we really?
So, this is the beginning of Franco Clanco, and as we said at the beginning, it might be half and half, like me and Franco, and then Artie's going to show up, and Franco's going to bail, and then Artie and I'll talk. I'm hoping Artie takes us up on it because he's just been really busy.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Just perpetuating the rumor that Artie and I don't like each other,
right.
So we're not going to be on together at the same time.
Or that he hates all of us now because he's not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
I did engage with a good text back and forth. I think it was over the weekend. I'm pretty sure it was over the weekend. I can't remember now. When I work overnights, all the days blur. It's like, what is this? It's funny because literally, like my producers and all the other overnight people, we all say the same. It's like, is this Wednesday? Is this Tuesday? I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. Yes, it's Wednesday. Okay. Because we start.
That usually happens to me during the summer.
Well, we start our shifts, before midnight. So, like I'm working tomorrow night, so I'll start my shift late Thursday night, but then they want us to say after midnight, good morning. It's Friday morning. And it's like, it's not Friday morning. I haven't gone to bed yet. And it's pitch dark outside.
It's bitch dark.
It's bitch dark and pitch dark. That's my favorite Vin Diesel movie, Pitch Dark. Wasn't it Pitch Dark or whatever?
Yeah. Where he was really fast and angry.
It was the sci-fi movie where he could see in the dark and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what his character's name was in that.
Riddick.
That's right, Riddick, thank you. Because in typical me fashion, me and Whitey, my buddy Whitey, we went to see the Chronicles.
Racist.
We went to see the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes in, I fell asleep, and I woke up for the credits. I slept through the whole movie. Once again, another great $10 nap.
Awesome.
And I've told my friends, I'm like, look, if I'm out, don't wake me up because that means I'm really tired and I really need to sleep. So
I would have woken you up, Jenny.
I get angry because Chucky tries to wake me up, and I'm like, stop it. Well, I want to see the movie, and we talk about the movie. I'm like, no. You see the movie. I enjoy my nap. I'm in a good mood because I just had a nice sleep, and we continue our afternoon. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and he should record it on his cell phone, the movie, so this way you guys can talk about it afterwards.
That's a good idea. Pirate it for me?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't encourage that, but that's what you should do.
Do you have access to that kind of stuff being in New York? I mean, I know you're not in like...
Oh, yeah, I pirate movies all the time.
I was going to say, I know you're not in the Serpico area of New York or anything like that. But,
I don't understand the question, Jenny.
All right.
Are you saying I'm from New York and I don't like sports, so I do everything that's illegal?
No, I just know that there's always pirated video on the streets. There's none of that in Chicago as far as overtly selling on the street.
Since streaming has become a thing, I do not see. That's a good point. I don't see videos on the streets of New York anymore.
See? All right, there you go. I'm a bootlegger, baby. Remember that Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Death Blow. I love all their fake movie names. Chunnel. I'm a big fan of Chunnel. Death Blow.
Rochelle.
Of course, Rochelle, kind of like a Cinemax foreign naked movie. That becomes the musical that Bette Midler's in.
Rochelle the musical. Bette Midler. No, Bette Midler?
You silly Jerry. Because you're silly.
Million and one shot, Doc.
The ass man.
This is weird, just me and you.
We've done this before.
Phone conversation.
This is the original Franco Clanco. This is hardcore Frank. This is Franco Clanco acoustic.
Right.
This is like our VH1 storytellers.
Now, where's Scoot? He's in Alabama?
I don't know
where
exactly. Parts unknown, as they say in my favorite part of any wrestling introduction. From Parts Unknown, Mr. X. What does that mean? That means we couldn't get a decent opponent, so somebody put on a luchador's mask, and he's going to throw himself around for a couple rounds. All right.
No. Nice.
They don't have rounds in wrestling. It really is just like one big 5-minute or 10-minute little struggle.
So, it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Bodies flying everywhere.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah. Has there been any decent pay-per-views in the last couple weeks?
There was a Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey that was a rousing match.
Now, isn't that the one we talked about where the one woman got injured? And I told her she looked like a David Bowie cover?
Yeah, she broke her face. That's right, yeah.
So that was
the next pay-per-view is coming up. As of this recording, it's coming up this Sunday, I think.
Oh.
So, yeah, who the hell knows?
I should text Skokie Spidey and see if he wants to join us.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or not. No offense to him. I mean, I love Skoke. He's awesome. He was very happy.
He was good on the last podcast.
Are you kidding me? I was telling my buddy who writes for the Wall Street Journal, who appreciates like old entertainment news. I'm like, Don Knotts was a DJ at a strip club or a burlesque house. He's like, come on. I'm like, I don't know, man. I trust my guy. I'm like, he's a Don Knotts freak. He loves everything about Don Knotts.
Yeah, who could say that? Who says that they're a Don Knotts freak?
Well, yeah, exactly, unless you step in a time machine and it's, 1977 and you're enjoying Mr. Furley on Three's Company.
Well, come on. Even in 1977, how many people are going to admit to the fact that they're a Don Knotts freak?
Yeah, that's true. I was watching an old Johnny Carson, and he had Tim Conway on, and I think it was literally one of the first appearances of Dorf. I hate Dorf. I'm sorry. That's just not funny to me. And I was thinking about the Apple Dumpling Gang and all those Tim Conway, Don Knotts movies.
One of my favorite Tim Conways is Meets the Tugball.
Well, Dorf really is Mr. Tugball. And, just like standing on his
shorter
knees.
Of stature.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I prefer Mr. Tugball and Mrs. O'Wiggins.
Mrs. O'Wiggins.
That's good stuff, man.
Now, when you need to call me, you just hit the button. Yeah.
Why don't you get back to work? All right. And she starts filing her nails again. That's not what I meant. Good stuff.
I like that nobody listening. Anybody listening doesn't know what we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, MeTV, Carol Burnett and Friends, every night at 10, I believe.
Do they have it on there?
They did for a long time. Oh, and I'll be honest, it's the half the sketches don't hold up. But that said, again, loving old celebrities, it's like, ooh, there's Steve Lawrence. Ooh, there's Rock Hudson. Ooh, Jim Nabors. Okay, Stiller and Mira from the 70s. George Costanza's dad, when he's young, when he's under 50, which, relatively speaking, is when he's young. So, and Ann Mira. They're like the blue-collar Nichols and May, Mike Nichols and Elaine May. Nichols and May were like sophisticated, would do boy-girl kind of sketches, very funny, like relationship sketches. And then Still and Mary came, and they were like blue-collar Nichols and May. They're the ones that were like doing their dates, like taking the bus instead of like, going to a 21 in a posh cab and experiencing Manhattan as you should. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
I know most of that.
I know.
I know most of what you said.
I was, do you have the digital channel? It's like MeTV, and it would be one of those sub-channels, and it might be on your cable system. It's called Buzzer.
I don't have no cable system no more.
Okay. All right. Well, and if you have a digital antenna,
I got the cords.
Okay, but do you have like a digital antenna so you can get local TV?
No.
Because a lot of local channels, you can get, like, they have 3 feeds. So they'll have their main local channel on the main feed, but then they'll have like point 2 and point 3. And a lot of stations for point 2 and point 3, they do MeTV, or they do Antenna TV and Get TV. They're all basically the same, like, kind of rerun kind of channels. And then there's one for old game shows. And because all this stuff used to be on the Game Show Network back in the day, but I think whoever owns the syndication rights, they created their own old game show channel that has literally 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s game show reruns, and it's called Buzzer. And there's a great late 70s or mid-70s game show called Tattletales. Remember Tattletales?
I remember that.
Had Bert Convy.
I never watched it, and then a few years ago on one of the game systems, on the Wii or something like that, we got a Tattletale game. Or is that the right one? No, what's the game? With the little fire guy.
No,
that comes up.
No, it's.
Am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, and Tattletales was like newlywed game where it's celebrity couples, and it's like, all right, ladies, here's a scenario: your husband is waiting for you while you go to the bathroom at a restaurant, and an attractive woman comes up to him and says, "Follow me." Does he follow her or not? All right, William Shatner's wife. What's Bill gonna say? And it's great because it's all these like A-list celebrities, and then like it's Bing Crosby's son Gary. Okay,
Wow.
It's Joanne Worley and her husband, who's on that original series Star Trek episode where they go back to the '60s, and he's the Air Force jet pilot that gets beamed on the Enterprise. That guy.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, we were watching one, me and Cam McWhorter, my buddy that writes for the Wall Street Journal. I know, he's sick like me. He and his younger brother, Andy, who's like 2 years younger than me. So he's like around your age or so. Close enough.
So what the hell's that supposed to mean?
Well, I'm saying I always forget where we are in the spectrum. I just turned 54, and I forget. Hey, you're like 49?
I don't give my age out.
All right, fine, exactly. Gee, all right, sorry, miss. I didn't mean to insult you by asking.
Well, now it's this running thing because everybody asks me how old I am. Students every day ask me when my birthday is, and I tell them every time today. Today is my birthday, and I had another colleague, a math teacher, come by and said, "Oh, we're doing this new thing where we're going to publish everybody's birthday." And I'm like, "Why the hell would you do that?" And she said, she goes, "Oh, it's a morale thing." And I'm like,
fun. No, it's not.
Okay, I said, I'm good, thanks. And she goes, "No, really, we need your birthday." And I'm like, "Today's my birthday." And she goes, "No, is it really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Sure it is.
I said, "Just ask the kids." And she goes, "When's his birthday?" And they're all like, "Today." And then and they're like, "If I asked you yesterday," they'd say, "Yeah, it was yesterday."
Exactly.
So
I like that you kids have your back. That's good.
I think I'm pretty positive that she put down that my birthday was February 29th.
I was going to say, and who and what great comic book celebrity is born February 29th?
Me.
Do you know?
Me.
DC Universe.
I just told you, me.
Do you know which character I'm talking about?
Oh, character. I thought you. No, I have no idea.
Superman.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a.
That was a Julie Schwartz
out
thing.
of it. Yeah.
I like that they made it February 29th for Superman. I like that.
It makes sense, I guess.
I like it. I've never met anyone born on February 29th.
Hospitals change it usually to the 28th.
Do they really?
Yes.
That's interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Do you have a birth? I'll call it a birthday nexus where a bunch, oddly, a bunch of your friends who are all born on the same day.
A bunch of my friends are all born on the same day?
Just in general, yeah. Just in, if you had, and actually, I'm going to say my date, and you're friends with a lot of these people as well, but it even extends beyond the comic book world. These are real people, but also into, growing up, a lot of my grade school and high school buddies were all born August 6th. Vanita Rogers, our dear friend from Newsarama.
Oh, I like Vanita.
Don Kramer, The fine.
I know Don Kramer.
Exactly, the fine artist from Justice Society and the like, and Detective Comics and many other great things.
He's from Des Moines, Chicago, right?
He lives in Bourbonnais, which is the town where your Chicago Bears train in the preseason, getting ready for the season and stuff. So yeah, he lives near Bears training camp. God, and then literally my buddy Whitey, my buddy George Spathis, these twins that we went to school with, Charles and Craig Gordon. My dear friend Sean Moran, a lovely woman. It's insane. They're all born August 6th. It's like I know like at least like 10 people that were all born like August 6th. It's crazy.
Is that your birthday too, Johnny?
No, I just had my birthday.
Oh.
It was December 2nd. I was telling
you. Why do you keep bringing up August?
Well, I said that's like a weird birthday nexus where all these people I know all happen to be born on the same day, and it's just weird. And I was just like,
I know that all these people that were born on the same day because there was a blackout that year.
Sure.
9 months before. So they were all born on that day.
I understand.
Happened here in New York during the blackout in the 70s.
Okay, sure. And I know there was a big 60s blackout where that happened as well.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because now it wasn't a blackout, but I'm guessing that my conception was a birthday celebration of my parents because my dad.
Oh, why do I need to know that?
Well, they're both gone.
Why?
They're both. I'm cool with it. They're my parents. Now, I'm not making you look at your parents, but.
Now I'm looking at my parents, Johnny.
Look at them. Look at them.
Now you put that in my brain.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Damn your eyes. Too late. Because my dad was born March 2nd and my mom was March 11th. So I'm figuring somebody's birthday because literally 9 months later. How you doing, everybody? Hey, how you doing? Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Fetus Hope. Nice to meet you. All right. If I could be Bob Hope for a second. I was thinking because it was just you and me, but it's still too early, and we got a whole month of December to unfortunately have a couple last celebrity days.
Or in memoriam. Yeah.
Yes, I love. Honestly, we do a good job. It's not mean, and it's nice.
But it's sad.
It is sad, but also it reminds us of like, oh yeah, because again, my buddy Cam McWhorter, Wall Street Journal. We were watching Buzzer. We were watching Tattletales, laughing, and Marty Allen. Remember Marty Allen with the crazy hair? Hello there. He was on, and he's like, wow, Marty Allen died this year. I'm like, I didn't even remember that Marty Allen died this year because it was so early in 2018. So I forgot Steve Ditko, even though it was just a couple months ago, died the same year that Stan died.
Yeah, that's right.
So on the subject of In Memoriam, I was talking to Brad Meltzer today. We had a lovely chat. He cracks me up. And he wrote
I like that guy.
Of course. He wrote a great obit for Stan for Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, of course, Brad's a writer. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. But, he was we shared sad, thoughts for him and President Bush, the 41.
Oh, yeah, he was very close to President Bush. That's right.
And Barbara. I told you before, there's a great video, and if you look at Brad's Facebook feed, you'll find it, of him and Barbara Bush recreating the I Love Lucy scene with Lucy and Ethel doing the conveyor belt, and they're eating the chocolates and stuff. And Barbara's reading I Am Lucille Ball, and Brad's shoving chocolates in his mouth. And Barbara's hilarious and totally just like, that's disgusting. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? It's like she became Alan Arkin for a second.
Sometimes I sit back, Johnny, and I contemplate my life. And things in my life, like got to know Brad Meltzer, and I drew a story that he wrote. How crazy is that?
Yes, you did.
That's I don't know, blows my mind.
Dude, I feel the same way. On my birthday, he was on C-SPAN for 3 hours, and I was so excited, and I, saw some family on my birthday and stuff, and, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm watching Brad. I'm like, my buddy's on C-SPAN for 3 hours, and he's telling these amazing stories. Like, you know that guy? I'm like, yeah. He's the best. He's coming to suburban Chicago for a book signing in January, and I hope to see him there because, obviously he doesn't go to conventions like he used to.
Right.
And so, the only time I do see him face-to-face is if I get to a book signing. And I think I've told you this before. Yeah. I think I told you this before. I took my sister to one, and I'm like, and she liked his books independent of knowing that I knew him. And I'm like, I know that guy. She's like, yeah, right. And we went to a book signing, and Brad gets up, he gives me a big hug,
right.
And later she's like, oh my God, he really is your friend. I'm like, yeah, I told you.
Well, that's just the thing. It's like, I did the same thing. I went to a signing, and I see him and I talk to him, and he gets up and he gives me the biggest hug, and everybody's online is like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah, who are
thing,
you?
So he's just awesome, yeah.
Oh, I love when he comes on Word Balloon. I'm sure we'll do something in January. But yeah, he was
okay. Loud noise alert. Okay, pencil sharpener.
I was going to say pencil sharpener. Thank you.
Okay, it's good. All right.
It's like a hearing test for me. That's good.
Because I know how you like to noise shame Scoot, so I wanted to warn you.
That's all right. Well, and it's brief as opposed to Scoot's like, it's just constant rumble. Because it's, again, he's doing his home improvements while he talks to us. I'm putting a sink in downstairs. Okay. I'm grouting a bathtub. All right. Whatever you got to do, Scoot. It's okay. God, there was a whole Ohio and Toledo reference on the news the other day, and I was thinking of Scoot. I can't remember what it was. Had nothing to do with Jamie Farr. I can't remember, though. Unfortunately, I can't remember.
Pacos?
No, it had nothing to do with Tony Pacos either. I would like dogs at Tony Pacos at some point. I feel I enjoy hot dogs in the same way that I enjoy pizza and want to enjoy it in different states and cities that are known for a certain style. I like it. Speaking of which, did you see the video? Didn't I send you guys the video of Jones Barbecue and foot massage?
Oh, yeah, that's like years old. Come on, where you been?
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, I never saw it.
Oh.
But I like it. That's clearly a comedy bit because I looked on YouTube and there's like a full one that isn't just the remix with the music. And, it's like, I'm like, okay. Because it has a suburban Chicago phone number. 708 is one of our area codes. And I'm like, if this is a real place, I don't know if I want to eat there because I don't want whatever's going on their feet, like getting into my barbecue. But or just the feet in,
especially when they use barbecue sauce
on the feet.
Yeah,
exactly. And I could see that happening, but no, it is a fake place. Yes.
I don't know it. What did I see recently that made me laugh out loud with a full guffaw? And sorry, I'm drawing something. So
that's all right. You got to hold your breath while you're drawing, obviously.
I'm not inking, so it's not bad.
Oh, that's right. Inking is when you hold your breath.
Yeah.
While you're thinking, I mentioned Alan Arkin. Netflix, great Alan Arkin thing. Him and Michael Douglas, the Kaminsky Method. Do you know about that?
It's a TV show, right? A series?
It's 8 parts. It's Chuck Lorre, Big Bang Theory, and all the other.
Yeah, I heard of this. I wanted to see it, but
very funny. Very, and it's great because they're like half-hour bits. So if you can only watch one, it's all right. Watch it and then come back to it or whatever. But yeah, there's only 8 of them. It was very funny. I hope they do another season. And it's really just like 2 best friends dealing with the fact that they're getting older and stuff. But they're very funny conversations. And Alan Arkin is just if he doesn't get nominated for a SAG Award and an Emmy and a Golden Globe, then
you're going to riot.
There's just something wrong because truly he is so funny in this. It's just a vintage, like as good as he was in Argo, as good as he was in The In-Laws, any aged Alan Arkin of comedy. It's like this is another great performance. Very, very funny.
See, now I got to watch this thing.
I'm telling you. Nancy Travis is in it. She's on that Tim Allen show. I can't remember, Last Man Standing or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
And then, she was in my favorite Nancy Allen performance is, or Nancy, whatever her name is, Nancy Travis. So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Right.
She's very funny in that and cute.
It was someone, I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I was talking to them and they're telling me about something that's on one of the streaming services.
Okay.
And says, oh, you should watch it. And it's about this. And I'm like, well, don't tell me what it's about, because then like he was going into more detail than he
I
should
have friends like that.
You know?
I know. No,
like,
but you got to hear this one thing. It's like, no, I don't.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, don't tell me about that. I said, and speaking of stuff, I want to see that Kurt Russell Christmas movie. I hope to, maybe as we get closer to the holiday. And he goes,
Can you spoil it?
Yeah, spoiler for those of you listening that you don't want to hear this. But he goes, oh, that's great. I'm like, oh, stop right there. Don't tell me anything about it. He goes, no, I wasn't going to tell you anything about it. It's just got a really good surprise ending. And I'm like,
don't even tell me
why
that.
Would you do that?
Why? I didn't tell you what the surprise was. Sometimes
right.
again,
I'm like, but now I know it's
Jeff.
Right.
I might not be remembering correctly that it's Jeff that sometimes does that, but I think he's learned since if he used to do that. I don't think he does. So I'll hear about this in 3 months when he finally catches up. Hey, I don't do that.
And I'm like, damn it. Why would you do that? I'm like, he goes, yeah, but I didn't tell you what the ending was. See, yeah, but now I'm going to expect it. So now I'm not even going to watch it now because I'm going to be expecting it the whole way.
Brad and I were talking, and he saw the whole DC Elseworlds CW crossover.
Oh, I just watched it.
Oh, have you finished watching it? All three?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I've only seen the first one. I loved what I saw.
The first one, then.
Yeah, we can talk about. Oh my God! I mean, when you first see.
When am I ever up to anything, Johnny?
I hear you. When we first see Clark and Lois on the farm, and they're playing Save Me, it's like, oh, that's awesome. And John Wesley Shipp, even though it's just in the teaser, and I know there's going to be more, but how awesome is it seeing John Wesley Shipp in the old '90s Flash costume? That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. Now, I haven't really kept up on the series, but I got tired. I got to go back and watch the Alien Invasion one from last. The
Alien Invasion was the first year with the Dominators.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That.
It's just like, holy fuck, the Dominators. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I'm like, I don't want to get caught behind in everybody. And sure enough, as soon as I finished watching it today, because I caught up from because I catch it online because
sure.
I don't have the thing. As soon as I go online, then someone says, "Oh, I can't wait till they do this next year," and I'm like, I would have been so upset if I saw that because it leads into that. So I would have been very upset if I saw that beforehand. But
are you saying that they tease what the crossover is going to be next year?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, interesting. Hey, why did you tell me that? That's a surprise ending.
Yeah, see?
Damn it.
See?
That's all right.
But
it's obscure.
I always get caught behind it. Everybody tells me, "Oh my gosh, that's that and the other thing." And I'm like, "No, I didn't see it. Don't tell me." So this time I wanted to see it, so I saw all of it. It was pretty good.
Every year it gets better. I mean, because I loved the first year. I thought with the Dominators, I thought that was great. And then last year with Earth X, I thought was fantastic. And
Earth X, see, that's what I didn't see. I didn't see that one.
Earth.
Yeah,
that was a good one too.
That Tyler Hoechlin, I love him as Superman.
Oh my God, yeah, Jesus, he's an amazing Clark, and he's a great Superman, 100%, man, 100%. He the Earth X thing, they're on, they're on each season of the 4 shows, but they're so if you hunt in episodes on Netflix, they're there, but they're it's you got to find out because I don't even remember what order they showed them in.
Right. Yeah, I got to look it up.
But they're there.
But I haven't caught up with all the series, so I'm like, you know what? I heard this thing was starting, and it started last night because I saw somebody write about it. I'm like, I'm going to watch it, and I did, and I just watched the Supergirl, the last one, today.
Cool.
So
yeah, I've got them all. I just haven't on my DVR. I just haven't, like I said, other than Sunday night, I really wanted to see it, and I was. I had to do the post game for your Chicago Bears, and so I only had time to watch that. And since then, I've just been busy interviewing a bunch of people. I interviewed the Brian Hill, who has that great Vertigo series, American Carnage, and also he's doing a Killmonger miniseries from Marvel that's like a prequel to the movie.
Oh, awesome!
Really good story, really, really good story. And also, he wrote the 5th and 7th episodes of Titans on DC Universe.
Oh, cool!
And they're good episodes. 7 was the Asylum one, And
Right. I forget which one. The one after there was a Doom Patrol episode, and then when they all get back together.
Right. That's
that one.
That's the one.
That's the one I saw.
That's Brian. Yeah, that was Brian's first episode. That's the first episode. By the way, and I said this to him as well, and it'll be on a word balloon if people are listening and want to hear it. I'm okay with the changes of the core Titan characters. That said, the Doom Patrol episode is everything you want a Doom Patrol TV show or movie to be. It's so perfect. Right. It is so perfect. And it's just like, oh, it's them. I mean, because, everyone tweaks for movies, and, I get that. The Doom Patrol's like, oh, no. The way they looked in the Silver Age, that's what you get.
Right.
I mean, and Robot Man is goofy looking, but, damn, they're all. Elastigirl's fantastic. Negative Man, hilarious. Am I missing one? Who's the fourth? Oh, well, of course, Beast Boy. But no, there's a fourth one.
Beast Boy, yeah.
Robot Man, Elastigirl, Negative Man.
Doctor. The Doctor.
Well, yeah, Niles, but isn't there a fourth? Right. I thought there was a fourth Doom Patrol person. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody.
Beast Boy. No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but Beast Boy wasn't really initially a core member. He came later. But
right.
Anyway, whatever. It's all right.
No, but for this oh, you're talking in the comics. Was there a fourth?
Yeah.
No, it was just, I think it was always the three of them.
I'm going to have to look it up. While we're talking, go on. But it was amazing. And Hawk and Dove. There's 2 Hawk and Dove episodes.
Yeah, I saw the early
my
one.
God.
So I'm trying to catch up on that show too, little by little.
Well, I knew I was talking to Brian yesterday, and I'm like, all right, I literally needed, and another reason why I'm like, all right, crossover or Titans. I'm like, well, I need to watch 4 episodes of Titans really fast, because the last one I saw was his first episode. So I, kind of went wall to wall and watched like 4 Titans in a row. And they were great. I'm honestly, I mean, I feel like a shill, but because, I'm as hypercritical as they come, especially when it comes to DC movies.
Right.
But they won me over with the changes. Oh, and there's a Jason Todd episode. Oh, and a Donna Troy episode. Oh, my God.
Oh, spoilers. Thanks.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I saw Jason. I figured it was Jason Todd because a Robin shows up at the end of the last episode.
Right.
I watched.
The one with Brian. That's right.
So then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to say I don't mind it. It's more of an adult Titans, but I'm okay with it. The writing's not bad, and it's going somewhere, so I like it. I'm okay with it.
No, I feel the same way, and it's like I said, I get used to the differences. It's okay. They make it work.
Yeah, you just pretend it's a different universe or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I wasn't a huge I liked the Wolfman and Perez stuff, but I was really it's just like I say, it's so funny. My default is, instead of reading that, I was more into the Legion of Superheroes. And the same thing with the X-Men. It's like, yeah, I kind of like the Legion better. So that's, I mean, I would dip in every now and then, and certainly read the Judas Contract and the Trigon story, and all of Brother Blood, and of course Deathstroke and all that shit. But it's Franco Clanco.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't married to it the way that I get it. Hardcore, Wolfman and Perez people. I don't know. I can understand them.
Mike Negan's one of those guys who's not making it.
Mike and I were talking about that last night, actually.
Last night?
Yes.
What the hell?
Well, because we're toying with the idea, and if we say it, then we're going to commit, and we will do it. But it's been a long time since we've done a movie commentary, and having
that's right.
Having DC Universe, I was watching everything because I'm just curious to see what they had, and they have those. Another one we should do a commentary on is that horrible, both the roast. Well, maybe not the roast, but the first Legends of the Superheroes '70s special that they did, where everyone looks like they just walked off a Six Flags stuntman show and are just there, and it's Adam West and Burt Ward, thankfully. But otherwise, it's a terrible, it's horrible. But again, that's why it would be funny to make fun of it. But I watched the roast. The roast is really get the hammers out and start beating your feet because it's rough. Ed McMahon hosts the roast. I don't want to say Weather Wizard is late to this event, but ... Ooh. So Superman 4 is on there. And I'm just, and I forget what scene I was going to. I think probably when when Clark gives Lois the memory kiss again. And because he needs to talk to her about getting rid of the nuclear weapons and everything, nuclear vessels. And yeah, I'm like, how is that? And I'm telling you, that's like so ready to be for a commentary. So I don't know how many of us will end up being on it. Scoot's like, I don't know. I don't have it. I'm like, he's like, I don't have it. I'm like, all right, well then, guess what? It's $3 to rent. You got $3?
He doesn't. He just,
yeah, I know. He just moved into a house, exactly. And he's got a child that he has to feed and clothe. I understand.
Right. See, you get it.
I do get it. And Negan's like, why? Like, why do we want to do this? And so I called him because I got tired of texting. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. I'm like, and this is why. And plus, it'll give Artie a chance to, plead his case that Superman 4 is superior to Superman 3. It's one of the most entertaining Artie arguments I've ever heard. So we will be doing that in the near future.
Oh, we will. We're commenting on it. We're doing it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, even if it's just you, me, and Artie, classic podcast, why not? We'll do it. We know what to do. Because Negan's like, he's like, I want to do it. He goes, but I feel like I should watch it again to kind of figure out some things I would like want to shout out. I'm like, of course. I'm like,
you have to watch it while we're commenting on it.
Well, that too, and I agree. But like we know all the movies we've done like the backs of our hands, so it wasn't like we had to rewatch. Is that man all right? Yeah, stuff like that. Now we did do Planet of the Apes, didn't we?
Yes.
Because I was trying to go through. We did, and I was telling Mike we did Batman 66 live.
We did that live in the theater, yeah.
Exactly, at the Skokie Theater.
And see, like, that's our life. We get to do stuff like that. That's
exactly,
so weird.
Man. No, that's good. No, I wish we could do it.
In front of an audience that showed up.
It's true. I wish we could do that more.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very envious of the podcasters in Manhattan proper and in L.A. proper because, they can pull other celebrities, air quotes, to do that stuff, like Meltdown Comics, places like that. Although Meltdown's no more, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, like they'll, hey, look, everybody, it's Elliot Gould. He's going to join us on stage. Fantastic. I don't know why I picked Elliot Gould. Why not?
Yeah, we'd never be able to get Elliot Gould or anybody else.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, we get us. We get Gigantic Jeff. We could possibly get Mike Norton. I don't know. I'm busy that day. I don't think I can come.
I want to talk to Mike. I miss that guy.
He's the best. Actually, as we're recording this, the 4-Star Christmas party is Saturday night, and I've got plans. My buddy, who I feel so bad for, he's always like, he's stuck in the suburbs, and he's like, I got a day off. You want to hang out? I'm like, okay. No problem. So I'm going to have dinner with him, but he'll probably be like, all right, I got to go to bed. It's 10 o'clock. And it's like, all right, fine. And then after that, I'll come back to the city and go to the 4-Star party probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So I'm sure I'll see him there.
I want to talk to Mike, and I want him to draw something, and I want to write it.
Okay.
So.
But yeah,
I'm saying that out loud, so this way, hopefully, it'll come true.
Their studio's close enough to where I live that a lot of times, like, I'll go to like Whole Foods for lunch or whatever, and we'll run into each other there or other places. It's not like he's like they're like 10 minutes away by car. And in nice weather, I'll walk to their studio in the middle of the day and stuff. And hey, how's it going?
Hey, John, what are you doing here?
I let him know. Hurry up and get here. We want to go to lunch before 11:45. I'm like, what are you, like a senior citizen?
Oh yeah. Oh, let me tell you, that's the best thing ever. Dinner at 4:30. It's
the early bird special.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's because you're with your parents all the time. Hey,
no, that's because I get up at the ass crack a day every day.
That's true too. Exactly. I guess that's true. So you've been up for 12 hours when it's time for the early bird special. I can appreciate that.
I have lunch. This year my lunch is a bit later, but for the last 3 years I've had lunch at 10:30 in the morning.
That's what I was going to guess. Sure. Well, that's like 6 hours since you've been up. I understand.
So when I get to like 4 o'clock, I'm like, dinner. I'm starving.
Sure. I can appreciate that.
And it was like, why do you eat so early? Shut up.
Yeah, but supposedly it's better for you.
I don't know.
They tell you if you want to lose weight, like stop eating by like 8 o'clock at night and all that stuff, and
that works. Yeah. Eat early and then sit on your ass all day drawing. You'll lose a lot of weight that way.
Yeah, good luck. Exactly. Thank God I have wheels again, so I'm gonna start hitting the pool again.
You got a car?
Yeah, my sister. I gotta say, she. I pick on her all the time, but she was going to get rid of her car, literally. Like, wasn't even going to try and resell it because that's too much of a hassle. And it's 12 years old, but she keeps them pristine. And it's a Toyota Highlander.
Oh,
there
can be only one.
do the Kurgan's line. What does he say?
No, Christopher Lambert says it to Kurgan. Why are you going somewhere?
I thought it was Clancy Brown. Okay. I didn't realize it was
it's Christopher Lambert.
He's a fine actor.
Christopher Lambert. Why are you going somewhere?
I like him. I like him in Greystoke. Go on.
It was it was about a month or so ago. I was having a painting session, and I put on Undiscovered Country.
Oh, fantastic!
And I was watching. I put it on Facebook, and people were writing.
So you were painting while you were painting with it in the background or whatever?
Yeah.
That's cool. Encore has been showing the hell out of all the good ones. Well, and I'm trying to think if they show any of the bad ones. So, and even the bad ones are certainly worth watching. Like, although the one that I struggle with is the Next Generation one, where Data's rogue at the beginning, and it's with F. Murray Abraham.
With the weird plastic surgery, right?
Yes. That's the only one that I'm like, yeah, all right. And I remember seeing that in the theater and be like, that's it? Yeah. And I got to wait 3 years for the next one? What the hell? This sucks. I can't even remember what it's called.
The first one, motion picture one.
Yeah, go on.
And
that one has
Undiscovered Country has got to be bad, too.
Oh, no, I like Undiscovered. Oh, I think Undiscovered Country has a lot of great scenes. And it's funny. There's a lot of really funny.
With my buddy in there. My buddy's in that one.
No. That's 5.
No, not Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, that's 5. Final Frontier.
Final Frontier. Yeah, 5.
What the hell's the one? What is the one that I'm thinking of? Insurrection.
Yes.
That's the Next Generation with F. Murray Abraham. And it's a missed opportunity, much like Star Trek Beyond having Idris Elba as a bad guy. It's like you got an A-list bad guy. How'd you mess this up?
Right. Yeah.
And then Star Trek Beyond is better than like a total failure, but it's like you got Idris Elba. Did you really have to put him in all that latex? I'm like,
right. Yeah.
Let him be Idris Elba, man.
Yeah, because
he's lovely.
Oh my gosh.
I would in a heartbeat. He's a beautiful man.
The things I would do to that man.
He was on the Daily Show. I forget what movie he was promoting. And, he's pushing 50 or whatever. It's like, way to go, man. You look fantastic. Good for you.
You know who?
I always root for that guy.
I bonded with my good friend Sarah Richard. I bonded with her over our infatuation with Idris Elba and how beautiful it is. Yes,
beautiful man. I noticed IDW is doing these great hardcover. They're like half comic, half articles and essays, and it's called Full Bleed. And they're like the McSweeney books, if people know the McSweeney collections of short stories and stuff and the interesting things. And our buddy Dirk Wood is the editor in charge of all that.
Yes.
And I got a press release that they're doing a third Kickstarter for Volume 3. And there's a collaboration in there with Sarah and Teenie Howard.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I like both of those people.
Yes. That is true. I was going to say that. She's involved with that. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I noticed in the credits. I'm like, oh, good for Sarah, good for Teenie. Teenie's great writer. And Sarah's a great painter. So it's like, of course.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Ghost, the Owl, and the Bushes, Volume 2?
She's, well, it's written.
Am I saying it right, or is it the Owl and the Ghost?
The Ghost, the Owl.
That is the Ghost, the Owl. Okay,
go
on.
Second one's written. Third one is pretty much outlined and written. It's just, Sarah's busy schedule. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't even know if she started it yet because she's been so busy. So it might be into
Good.
the new year before she even starts.
Well, it's a good problem to have. That's all right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good to hear.
But I've been doing a lot of writing. I've got so many things that so many people are working on right now that like there's nothing coming out in the immediate future, and then all of a sudden I'll have like 50 projects all coming out in the same month.
Awesome.
Like it'll be something crazy like that.
Brian Hill was telling me, because they've already announced he and Dexter Soy are doing a new Outsiders book for DC, and it was supposed to come out in like February, but they pushed it back because and Brian was kind of relieved because he's like, yeah, I just don't want 3 or 4 things out at the same time. I want to spread it out.
Uh-huh.
So because he's got Killmonger and American Carnage getting going and stuff. It's very good.
Oh, I went to go see Colbert.
Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah.
Daniel Kibblesmith.
So yeah,
who was some tickets?
Who was on?
It was well, see, it's weird because they did a bait and switch. It was supposed to be Jeff. Oh God, what is Jeff Daniels?
Okay,
Jeff Daniels, Emily Mortimer.
I love that. That's crazy. They were both on the Newsroom. Go on.
Yeah, and Chris Gethard, actor, writer, guy, comedian. And then we get there, and he says that sometimes they film, other segments for other shows.
Yes.
So they brought out Kathy Griffith. And then at the end they told us Jeff Daniels wasn't there because they had recorded him previously.
Sure.
So we saw Kathy Griffin, Emily Mortimer, and it was weird because they talked as if, Jeff Daniels was there. It was weird. But then at the end he wasn't there.
I understand. No, I get it.
And then when we came home that night, Jeff Daniels' piece was inserted into the show we were in. And then Kathy Griffin was on Friday. But if you watch the Jeff Daniels show, right before Emily Mortimer is on, they do this big swing out over the audience, and it's the back of the audience, and it looks like a normal audience except for me, because I'm way above the audience, and you can see the back of my head. I'm like a big giant Sasquatch in the middle of all these normal-sized people. So
what's the Ed Sullivan Theater like? Because that is
it's pretty cool.
I bet.
I've never been in. The one thing, it was exciting to get there, and luckily we didn't have to wait on the huge line to try and get the tickets and everything. And then we get brought in, and then you're seated, and you wait because then they have a warm-up comedian come out.
Okay.
But as you're sitting there waiting, the anticipation of trying to get in and all that stuff, you settle in, and then you start looking around, and they got this great dome ceiling. The whole thing's been refurbished, but you start thinking to yourself, wow, the Beatles were here.
That's right. Elvis was there. The
Elvis
Beatles
was here.
Yeah.
Beatles were here. And
everybody.
It's crazy because
Sinatra, Tony Bennett, everybody from literally the 50s through the 70s. Decades, that channel shows half-hour clips of Ed Sullivan, and it's the only – because those rights to those songs, I think most other shows – like old Johnny Carson shows, you never see the musical performances because they can't clear it. But with Sullivan, it was always up front. Of course it's my property. You're doing this on my variety show, and yes, Rolling Stones, your version of Let's Spend the Night Together is now my property. The version you did on my show. So it's great. And I mean, I love it. And it's because I love Leslie Uggams and all the, Andy Williams singing in the 60s as much as I do seeing the Animals do House of the Rising Sun or the Beatles or the Stones or whoever. So it's great. And it's, they show 2 episodes twice a day on Decades. So that's amazing. That's really, really cool.
So that's where, you're, I'm awestruck, and I'm like, and
totally.
And there was back in the day, when DC still had their offices in New York, I went down and I was in the offices, and they were right across the street from the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
So when you look out, Dan's office window, you
see the marquee.
You can see the marquee. down there, So I forget what I was doing there, whatever. And then I left, and I get home, and as I get home, because I was down there earlier in the day, they asked me to stay and hang out, and I said no, I had to, get home and do some stuff and probably get to work the next day or whatever. I get home and turn on the news. It was like 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that because they tape at 5 o'clock.
Right.
David Letterman used to tape at 5 o'clock as
Johnny
well.
did too. Yeah.
Right. So I get down there and on the news, there's a big commotion in front of the Ed Sullivan Theater. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And Paul McCartney's performing on the marquee. And I'm like, damn it! I should have stayed. I was right there.
Wow.
And I missed it. Yeah.
Wow. No, so I understand, man.
That was upsetting.
Yeah. I liked the bit that McCartney did with, and I'm really not a big Jimmy Fallon guy at the end of the day. I respect him. He has great ideas, and here's a great idea that he did. Did you see that thing where it was him and McCartney, and like they wait by an elevator, and they like there's always like an NBC tour, and it like accidentally stops on the wrong floor. The doors open up, and it's Jimmy Fallon and Paul McCartney clowning around or just having a conversation, and they record all the people's reactions of, "Oh my God, it's a Beatle!"
Right.
It's Paul. Holy cow! And it's pretty funny, and it's great because they got inventive and they did crazy stuff, or they're both playing acoustic guitars and singing, or just doing little quick comedy bits and stuff. And it's great because literally it's like the people react and then the door's closed. They don't get to get out and actually meet them or anything. And finally, one group, McCartney did jump on the elevator with them, and they were freaking out. And it was awesome because there was a bunch of senior citizen women that back when they were teenagers, oh my God, Paul McCartney.
It's like, wait, I got to try and get my panties off.
I was going to say something like, wait, let me turn my hearing aid up so I can hear him. It is Paul McCartney. But it was great. It was really funny. Yeah, that was a good bit. So, and I kind of like that Paul is just like, oh, I'm around. Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm a Beatle. Yeah.
Well, and I guess maybe kind of, remember that story a couple of years ago, right after the Grammys, where he went to some hip-hop guy's party, and the security, it was him and Beck.
Kanye. I think it was Kanye's party.
I don't think it was Kanye's party. I really don't. I don't think it was that big of a name. It was like
I think it was Kanye's party.
I think it was somebody else. I think it was like, are you being silly? Still just saying Kanye in a stupid way, or
no? Well, it's Kanye.
Yeah, but I really don't think it was Kanye.
Look it up.
All right, I will. I'll look it up as we're talking. But yeah, they were the security is like, I don't know who you guys are, but you're not getting it.
Right.
All right, Beck and I will go. No problem.
Right, he didn't put up a big deal about it,
no,
but yeah.
I'm sure they thought it was hilarious. It's like, yeah, okay, your loss. And apparently the guy was embarrassed. The performer is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Of course I know who they are. Of course I would have let them in. I'm so sorry it happened. But it was very funny. Because then there was the other thing where Paul did we've talked about this before, where he was on some hip-hop guy's song. And all of the hip-hop fans are like, oh, isn't that nice that he took this old man and put him on their song? It's like, yeah, it's an effing Beatle, dumbasses. I'm sorry. Jeez. Yeah. Dumbasses. Good Lord. I'm glad the baby it's cold outside as I'm looking up McCartney and Beck.
You made me laugh and I screwed up this incline. Damn you.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm glad the baby it's cold outside controversy finally ended. Did you hear about that?
No, it ended?
Yeah, there was a station in San Francisco that decided to get it very politically correct and decided that Baby It's Cold Outside is a date rape song.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, and a few people jumped on the bandwagon, and it's like, oh, again, sorry, F you. It's like, come on. Yeah. They're both flirting. If you hear the song, and especially the way it's performed, it's like, no, it's not. No, and it's, again, poor Jimmy Fallon, not to pick on him, but he made a bit out of it a year or two ago during Christmas season where it was like a kind of a date rapey thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's wrong. And it even got to the point where Dean Martin's daughter, and not that I'm a big Fox and Friends watcher, but I saw that while it was still How Dare They, she was on, and I saw the clip. And, yeah, she's like, come on.
Yeah. And it wasn't even a Christmas song to begin with. Wasn't it Ricardo? It was in Ricardo and Esther's.
Yes, Montalban and Esther Williams.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've seen the one where I don't know who the woman was, but it was Red Skelton. And they performed it.
Yes.
A million people did it. Ray Charles did it. Everybody. Louis Jordan. I mean, really. And again, Dean Martin and stuff. It's like, come on. No. And that's really an insult to the songwriter as well. It's like, no. Because there are.
I think I saw something where they interviewed the daughter of the guy who wrote the song or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can ye?
All right, so it was whose party? In a story that's top to bottom illogical, a Beatle, a Foo Fighter, and an alternative icon. It was is it Tigars or Tigars or Tiggas? Tigga, excuse me. Boy, hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to Middle Age. What's his name? I guess it's Tigga.
I believe it's pronounced Kanye.
It's Tyga. I'm assuming it's
yes,
Tigga.
that spells Kanye.
But it was Paul McCartney, Taylor Hawkins, and Beck. And, yeah, they're like, no, you can't get in. What year was this? Several years ago.
I can understand why they didn't let Beck in. I can understand that.
That reminds me of Larry Sanders, when at the beginning Beck is performing, and Artie, the producer's mad. Who booked Beck on this show? It was 2016. Only 2 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. February of 2016. Yeah, that was hilarious. That killed me. So yeah, that's what happened back then. But yeah, Baby It's Cold Outside. And yeah, that's right. I forgot. Even our man. Do you realize this is not a date rape song?
Right. Do you realize I was trying to get into Swimmer's Trunks?
Exactly. Me and Esther made many movies together. Dude, I am telling you, you go back to the golden age of Hollywood, you will have nothing but respect for Montalban. Because he is like one of those great actors that pretty much can do anything. He made a boxing movie that's decent. He's in all these Esther Williams water musicals and stuff, and it's just, hello.
And it's great that the only thing he'll be remembered for is a white suit. And
Exactly.
say, tattoo. Yeah.
It's true. But I'm telling you, watch his Television Academy oral history interviews. He goes through everything. You did a Bonanza in 1960s. Oh, yes. Yes, I played a Native American, and I'm very proud of that episode. Because it's a good story. He's an Indian, and Native American, and he tries to acclimate to the white man's community, so he cuts off his hair and has like a very, white man kind of haircut, and is ostracized from the tribe for trying to get with the white people, and of course the white people aren't accepting him either. And it's a pretty powerful Bonanza, I got to tell you.
Was that where he yelled at the cast or something like that? Or?
Yes. Yeah, we did talk about it before because
Bonanza, right?
because they weren't like, helping him out when it was his close-ups, and they were just kind of half-assing it. And he's like, I am an actor. Show me respect. Yeah. You guys can screw around on your own time, but this is my only thing. And they all came up to him individually, and they're like, first of all, I'm sorry. Secondly, I'm so glad you said something. And they all ratted out the other guys. Yeah, it's all those guys. It's not me. They all had the same story. Yeah, it's that Pernell Roberts. Damn him. What's wrong with that guy? It's all Michael Landon's fault. Dude, I still love, and again, as always, Franco, you always got this bag of facts that I don't believe you, and then we read it, and it's like, oh my God, it's true. The Little House story.
Yeah.
About how they were going to renew the show, so he blew up the town.
Yeah. See? I know things.
Yes, I know things. It's true. Oh, I love that. That's seriously, that is my favorite Michael Landon story. Oh, you're not renewing Little House? Fine. Last episode, we blow up the town. The end. But we were going to use it for another Western show. Yeah, good luck with that.
Excuse my language, but don't fuck with Michael Landon.
Damn straight, man. Little Joe. There's a great.
You want to wind up on a highway to heaven, pal? I'll tell you.
There's a great Johnny Carson that he's on, and I forget what story he's telling. There's a drunk guy in the audience. He goes, "You tell him, Little Joe." and it's great. Michael Landon's like, all right, Lauren, calm down. Like it's Lauren Green. Good stuff, man. I'm dying. Oh, you know what's awesome? All right, now here's a jump. Can I tell you a jump from Michael Landon to Lauren Green to Battlestar Galactica? There's my through line, if you will.
Yeah.
Mark Bernardin, the fine comic book writer and journalist, entertainment writer, and screenwriter, is doing a podcast about the Battlestar reboot, and it's going back to episode 1 and just doing a review kind of podcast. I just read about it, and I kind of want to hear it because Mark knows he's got nerd cred, and I guess back in the day he did moderate some Battlestar panels and stuff. But I'm excited for that because I think that's one of the great sci-fi shows of the 2000s. Certainly, Galactica. All right.
Yes, true. Sorry, I had you on mute because I was sneezing. So I was saving you and the rest of the audience.
See, yeah, but we want to hear the sneezes. It's all right. I always blow my nose on the pod.
I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna mute you. Hold on. Go for it. Fill the air. Go. Okay, see, your farting sound was much worse than the actual blowing of the nose.
Well, that's what I mean. So I figured let's give him something gross to hear, if not your actual sneeze. So, what else about Montalban was I going to tell you? I always say that movie Mystery Street, which is his detective story, and it's a great noir. And he even doesn't have that big of an accent. He's much more Angloized, and he plays a Portuguese Bostonian. And it's a forensic medicine like CSI and everything. It's Quincy before Quincy. It was made in the early 50s, and it's this like little low budget MGM movie, Mystery Street. And truly, it's like such a great detective thing. And again, Montalban just at his best. Good stuff, man. I'm telling you. And it's more than just
that guy's awesome.
Yep. Have you watched any of the? Because you watch Discovery, and you have access to CBS All Access. Have you watched any of these short treks?
No, what are those?
Before Season 2 starts in January, since October, at the beginning of the month, like the first Thursday of every month, including January, they made these 4 12-minute like short stories. And the first one was all about the redheaded ensign Tilly. And it was pretty good. It would have been a decent, like, Next Generation episode or whatever.
Oh, they're actual, like, little short episodes or something?
Yeah, they're mini episodes. Yeah, they're good. And actually, God, the second one was... I still haven't seen the third one. Third one's all about Saru, Doug Jones' character, the alien first officer from...
He's my friend, because he...
Doug Jones?
Yeah, he tweeted at me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm a big. I'm anything he does. I'm always a big fan. I think he's a good geek. He's always been like one with the fans. He appreciates his fan base and everything, and he always does cool sci-fi stuff. But the first one was about Tilly. The third one was about Saru, and that's the new one this month. But the November one was written by Michael Chabon, Cavalier and Clay, and it's called Calypso, and it's a very interesting. The main story is the main story, but I don't even want to spoil it. You should watch that because it was really, really interesting, and it postulates a future possible status quo that they may or may not get to in the second season, or maybe they'll get to it down the line. But it was a very interesting where the ship was and how this character gets on board Discovery. He's not a member of the crew. It's very much a metaphor of the Odyssey. The original Homer story, Homer Simpson, of course.
Cool.
It's great. It's called Calypso, and that was Odysseus's ship in the Odyssey. But and of course also Jacques Cousteau's ship. Our first dive, we went down to the bottom of the ocean floor. We did not know what to expect, and we were to discover Ricardo Montalban swimming with Esther Williams, singing the Dead Rip song, "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Yeah. I like that. I like all of it.
It's honestly, it was really, really great. It was I was impressed with the amount of story they were able to pack in 12 minutes. And there's a whole interesting backstory to that because for the European audience, CBS is like, so if you want these extra episodes, it's going to cost you $40 million.
Wow.
and Netflix is like, for 4 12-minute episodes, how about no? How about we don't care?
Wow.
And they're like, okay, $20 million. No. $10 million. No. $5 million. Go away. and the only guys that picked it up were the Canadian Sci-Fi Channel Space. Oh yeah, we'll take it. But I think they took it for a bargain basement price. Now I don't know if that's one of those behind the scenes stories, rumors. I believe it because I believe CBS is that audacious to ask that price. But that kind of made me laugh. But they're fun, and if
they got to pay the legal fees for Leslie Moonves, don't they?
No kidding, I know. Yikes! Oh, and then it was really sad. Beyond Les Moonves, apparently Don Hewitt, the original 60 Minutes producer, who was this.
Oh yeah.
He has been. Apparently CBS has been paying off a woman since the 70s.
Wow!
And they're still paying her every year.
Now what happened? What happened with Julie Chen? Because what
do you mean?
Not that I watch the talk. But I happened to spot an episode the other day, and she wasn't on it.
Ever since
she wasn't even in the credits. So,
ever since the scandal hit, she left the talk, and I don't know, because again, I don't watch the talk. I don't watch Big Brother. I don't know what her status is with Big Brother moving forward. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's weird. And also, not to be rude, because God only knows what their marriage is like. But I have to be a little gossipy and go, okay, how many months, whenever this smoke clears, does she leave Les? Like, when is it okay for her to leave Les? Or is she going to be like Camille and stand by her man, you see?
Probably stand by, because isn't the guy loaded beyond belief?
I would assume so. I don't know if he's got, like, as Ed Norton would say, a mansion, a yacht, a string of Peloponnes that, in his background. I don't know how many, like, villas he has.
But also, yes, since he had to leave under those circumstances, I'm sure that they had to, pay him off.
Well, but no,
I'm sure he got no. That's not the correct word. I'm sure he got a huge bonus.
Well, yeah. Well, supposedly, he got one of those. He was supposed to get some big golden parachute of like $120 million or whatever for walking away. But they're saying with all these allegations, it's like, that's probably not going to happen. I'm still waiting to hear with Megyn Kelly.
That was the joke, but
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I'm slow. I'm slow. I take everything so obviously.
For what now?
Megyn Kelly on NBC and how they canceled her show, which sucked. I remember she had the whole playing blackface for trick or treats. What's the problem? We used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Really? In the 70s? Really? Tell us more. Oops. But so she's like, NBC's like, all right, I think we're done. I think we're done talking. And she's, she hasn't been on her post Today Show. Since Halloween.
If we had to get rid of Matt Lauer, you're gone too. See ya.
I'm shrugging, man. I know. It's like, really? Okay. Well, I didn't understand that hire to begin with. I guess they wanted to get a more conservative audience and thought, all right, well, she seems to be level-headed. And it's like, I don't think you were watching Fox. All you saw was the debates when she took on Trump. I go, I don't think you really saw this person's whole body of work. But okay, whatever. And, things didn't work out. Got her when she pissed off Jane Fonda. So how much work have you had done, Jane? Ooh. Really?
This was on the NBC show?
Yeah, on Megyn Kelly. She and Robert Redford were promoting that last movie that they made together that's on the Netflix. I can't remember the name of it. I still haven't seen it. Not that I would, but, I respect their work. I want to see Redford's last movie. Man
with a Gun?
Yeah, Man with a Gun. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping to eventually see that when it's on some streaming platform. Isn't it interesting? This is another thing Brian Hill and I talked about, and I want your opinion on this. Because, as you know as well, what used to fly as big Hollywood movies in the theaters, they can't make them anymore. And I'm sure we talked about it as well, when Jodie Foster was complaining this summer. And she's like, I don't want to make Marvel movies. I want to make the movies I've been making for most of my career. Right. And it's like, well, I understand, but newsflash. Yeah, it's exactly. It's like newsflash. The business has changed. But the good news is, much like this Comiskey method on the Netflix with Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin, it's like, go to Amazon, go to Netflix, do a miniseries, do a movie, and I'm sorry, maybe you're not going to make $25 million a movie anymore. You might have to settle for $5 million. Sorry, you got to slum it and only make $5 million or whatever. But it's like, and Coppola is like that too. Francis Ford Coppola, he gets angry and it's like, oh, they're making carnival rides, they're not making movies anymore, which cracks me up. And again, Brian Hill and I were talking about this. It's like that was one of the radicals in the 60s and 70s challenging whatever was the movie status quo of
Right.
the 60s and 70s, and now he's complaining because the status quo is changing.
Right.
And it's like, boy, if your 60s you could see you now, I think you'd have a little. It's like when the X-Men came from the 60s to the modern day. What the hell are you doing? I think you guys forgot who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, the vernacular of the news cycle today. There's a tweet for that. You know, because yeah, I like how these guys go full circle and yeah.
Well, and it's now Coppola is mainstream fat cat, and I mean he still has his little battles with studios and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, the business has changed, and Brian got very eloquent about it and was saying, he goes, there used to be star vehicles where it's like, I'm going to see the new Michael Keaton movie. I'm shrugging to pull a name out, or a Jodie Foster movie. Right. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't fly anymore, man. That's not enough to get asses, in the seats.
Right.
And instead, by all means, because even before streaming, I think a lot of the good basic cable, like the FXs and the USAs, like Damages, Glenn Close. It's like, all right, Glenn Close was a staple of major films for 20 years. And it's like, all right, you want to do something interesting? Come to FX. Do a season of Damages. Do a season of The Shield.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that's good stuff. So I don't know, man. I think it's very interesting. This is a very interesting situation. In the words of George Bailey, say it.
Those pedals.
Thank you.
There is no more. There is no more star power. There is very few. I think maybe Tom Cruise.
Maybe.
I'm really hard pressed to.
Tom Hanks. I think
Tom Hanks is Hanks is star power.
But the difference is there were Tom Hankses that were Tom Hanks's age back then, and there was still room for Tom Cruise when he was young.
Right.
There is no young Tom Cruise. There is no young Tom
I don't
Hanks.
think there ever will be that again. You know what I mean? I mean, there'll be. You'll have what's his face? The really good one that I would sleep with in a heartbeat. What's his name? Bradley Cooper.
Elba? Oh, okay.
Bradley Cooper. He's a major star, but I don't think he will ever reach. Like Tom Cruise is in that. Tom Hanks is in there. I think that list because they were there back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I would say let's give it 10 years on Bradley Cooper because he might be one of the last ones that might graduate.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like these are the last.
Yeah.
The last of this superstar movie star breed.
Well, never say never because I think Jennifer Lawrence, being someone under 30, has attained that status. So there are. It's just that there are a lot fewer. And that said, I don't know.
Right, but, what I'm saying is, like, if you remember back in the 80s, you put someone like Tom Cruise in Top Gun and these movies, you would have a younger audience who knows who Tom Cruise is, and you would have the older audience who knew who Tom Cruise is. I don't think younger people will know, and maybe Jennifer Lawrence, like I said, maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Her and Bradley Cooper are
the last ones.
The last ones.
Maybe.
But
maybe
a lot of younger kids don't know the older or know all the movie stars and everything.
Well, they don't care. They don't.
Well,
care.
That's what I mean. They don't care. They don't know them. Like if I'll mention something, they'll be like, "Who?"
You know who I'll put in there as another young one, and again might be part of this last generation, Michael B. Jordan, and certainly, and shame on me, I can't remember his name. Black Panther, the actor. I'll tell you, Chadwick Boseman. Oh my God! Because really, seriously, like beyond Black Panther, his James Brown movie, damn, he is great. And the Jackie Robinson
that's what I'm
movie.
saying. It's like I don't think younger people. I feel like I should be.
Let's see what happens after. Let's see what happens after.
Get off of it.
Let's see what happens after award season with Chadwick Boseman.
Right. I feel like I need to be sitting on my lawn telling people to get off it right now.
No, it's just but also I mean,
but like I don't think like if you bring up Black Panther, they're like, oh yeah, but they don't know that he was in the in the Marshall movie. They don't know that he was in the James Brown movie. You know what I mean? It's just like,
We'll see.
he's in the big tent movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But not that he's well known outside of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I think once he gets the Oscar and people associate the name with T'Challa, then it's going to. Like I said, let's see what happens. Like post-Oscar season, let's see what happens because regardless of whether he comes home with hardware or not, there's going to be a lot of buzz about him. And by the way, we're not saying we're unlike Jodie Foster and Francis Coppola. We're okay with the fact that the business has changed. As far as bringing this up, I just think it's interesting that it has changed.
Oh yeah.
And that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up. I don't lament that. Oh, let's go back to that and everything.
No.
That's fine.
But I'm saying I'm commenting on the fact of how interesting it is that there is not going to be that huge like Robert Redford,
right?
In the day,
right?
And now is still I don't know that he's known by a younger crowd, but
probably not.
But you know what I mean is like he was movie star status.
From day one. Yes.
Right.
Barefoot in the Park, 1960s. Yes.
Right. He's this gorgeous guy in these great movies, and he can't walk down the street type thing.
Right. Right. Well, and again, that's why, like I said, Jennifer Lawrence very quickly became who's that?
Right.
It's like whoa. And again, had the acting chops to back it up and everything.
Right.
So we'll see. It's gonna and again, it's not like these people are bulletproof. They make bombs. Was it Mother? I can't even remember that weird movie she made with Aronofsky.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. I have no. And it's funny. Her I'm not I'm not Black Widow, but I may as well be Red Sparrow or whatever the hell it's called.
Right.
She's like the Russian agent and stuff. Yeah. It's on streaming, and I forget where. It might be Amazon or whatever, and I keep meaning to watch it. Maybe after we talk tonight, I'll end up watching it. But I definitely want to see that because apparently I think she forgot her clothes in a couple scenes too. So, yes, please. I won't deny. She's still flying. Of course, she's still flying. She's under 30, for God's sake. I saw when I saw Creed 2, I saw the Dark Phoenix trailer. And I really liked it. I have to confess, I have not seen the new Captain Marvel trailer, and I have not seen the new Avengers trailer yet. And I want to. There is part of me, our good friend Jason Inman, formerly of DC Access Videos and the like, he made a very good point online. And he's like, hey, here's an idea. Let's not watch the trailers, and let's go into, Avengers, whatever the hell it's called, Retribution or whatever. And just watch the movie without seeing any of the trailers and be completely surprised by everything we see.
But why? Because I think the trailers are great. I
don't disagree. I think the trailers are fine. What I don't like is there are certain podcasts, and by all means, do what you want with your podcast. God bless you. And I know they have thousands of followers that love these things. I had to stop listening and watching to John Schnepp's group, and I know John Schnepp passed away this year, and very sorry that happened. But they were so detail-oriented about Justice League, like months before the movie came out.
See, that I don't subscribe to. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like seriously, shut up. I would rather just see the movie. I don't need to know all this.
Right.
But again, a lot of people do, and they love that, and. It's whatever. I like we've said before when I know you were making fun of me.
It's the same comment as like, oh, there's a surprise ending. Oh, why'd you do that to me?
Well, and further, and I or when we were talking after Infinity War, and it's well, what's going to happen next year? And it's like, as far as I'm concerned, like I can wait a year. We'll find out next year. It's okay. And these hundreds of stories.
I don't agree with you there because
I know you don't. It's okay.
No, not for the reason you think. Not for the reason you think, because I'm getting older, and I may not make it to next year. So that's why I want to.
But honestly, I appreciated your comment as a writer, and like, well, if I were writing the next chapter, I would do X, Y, and Z, and I respect that. That's okay. Right. But yeah, it's just that's not my game. I'm like, yeah, sorry, and it's so funny because like when Bill Maher crapped on Stan Lee's death.
Oh, that guy sucks.
And so many of my friends are like, you should do a podcast about that. You should do a podcast. And I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, I'd get a lot of downloads. I'm like, I don't care.
Let's do one right now, Johnny.
Well, that's why I'm happy to bring it up now that it's been a while and stuff. Even Brad and I were talking about it today, and I couldn't bring myself to even it's like whatever. I'm like because again, and then really Brad's obituary in Entertainment Weekly for Stan in a very classy way is like, yeah, if you want to honor Stan Lee, don't go watch his cameos. Don't go to a movie as Bill Maher suggested. It's like. No, like dig deeper into this guy's message and what he was saying and having the balls to say in the 60s that racial intolerance is not acceptable. And if you want to be a good American, it's like, no, everybody's welcome. And yeah, let's treat everybody with respect. And he was saying that in 1965 when, the South is like, well, I don't know. I don't agree with that. So, yeah, I mean, it's Mar. I mean, it's like douche. Good Lord.
Yeah.
He was on Larry King. Larry King's must have done a new batch of Larry King Now. What do you think about the current situation? He is like this close to being one of the Hall of Presidents automatons. God bless him, man. He's 80 whatever, and he's still going. And I believe if you want to keep your mind sharp, keep working. But it is very interesting. And maybe it's the way the show is cut. But I saw one that he did with Whitney Cummings, and she literally was like, I think she was talking about Trump or something, and then all of a sudden it was like, who does your hair for your TV appearances? And it's like, where the hell did that come from? What's going on, man? So, and again, it might have just been a video cut or something in edit, but I'm like, all right, Larry. But he had Bill Maher on talking about Stan, and like after. He made his little blog post and everything. And, yeah, he's standing his ground. He's still like, nope, sorry, don't get it.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, fine, whatever. Be stupid.
Sometimes an ass has got to continue to be an ass.
This is true.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Are you tired? Do you want to go? What time is it?
I'm good for a little bit more. I thought I might have to get off because Art was texting that he's not going to be able to make it.
Son of a gun.
Because he's trying to get a script done for something that we're working on that we worked out. He's just got to, thumbnail it. And I said, well, I could get off with you and help him. But he said, no, he's got it. He's just got to get it done. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm saying,
yeah, he will not
include me.
Not join us. Yeah.
No problem. We're doing fine. We're doing a fine Franco Clanco. Getting into stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. No, I've only seen Creed 2. I haven't. My buddy Whitey was telling me, racist, that he finally saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I still haven't seen that.
Oh my goodness!
I know. I suck. Still got to see that. Still got to see Incredibles 2. And I forget what the third superhero movie was this summer that I didn't see. Post-Infinity War.
See, the only watcher in the movie theaters because I have to leave my house to go there, and then I watch it. If I leave it for me to watch here at home, I'll never watch it because I'm always, I could do this or I could do that.
No, I understand, and it's harder for me to make time for a movie sitting at home versus going to it. And with Creed 2, I really wanted to see on the big screen. But I'm bummed because it's still playing in theaters, and I probably could have waited. And that Hugh Jackman movie about Gary Hart from the 80s.
Is that what that's about, Gary Hart?
Yeah, the front runner, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny, I was telling my buddy Cam, who writes for the Wall Street Journal, that back in the 80s at Illinois State University, Carole King, the songwriter and singer, she of Tapestry fame, she was stumping for Gary Hart, and she did a speech and sang 4 or 5 songs, and it was just like, oh my God, I've watched Carole King perform live. This is amazing. And because we were, I was on the student radio station, and my buddy was on the student newspaper, we came up and she talked to us, and it's like, I got to meet Carole King. This is amazing.
That's awesome.
So and Hart before the scandal. I want to hear more about the scandal now. And I actually heard Gary Hart recently on a podcast while the movie was still in production talk about it a bit. But yeah, he really got a raw deal because he really was, and he would have been a great candidate, and I would have been happy if he had become president. But these things happen. Don't ride on boats with hot girls on your lap, sir.
Right. Can you imagine now? That's what took down the candidate.
Yep. I know. Isn't that weird? Well, and what's crazy when
and Howard Dean,
well, that was the worst. That was it was so stupid in terms of it taking him down, and it's like, all right, so he sounded awkward, like cheering on his base. It's like, really. But again, this is where TV is. There's it, and much like Gary Hart with Donna Rice on his lap, in the 40. No, I'm trying to remember. Okay, it was the 40s. It was before he was president, when he was still vice president. There's a great picture, you can find it online, of Harry Truman playing the piano, and Lauren Bacall, when she was young and flying, is sitting on top of the piano, showing a lot of leg. And it really was like, all right, here's sexy girl on top of the piano, and the vice president is playing the piano, basically, hey, how you doing? Right. And like that didn't take Harry down. But it's fun, and it was kind of this scandalous photograph, but it didn't ruin him, thank God. Right. And we still got Harry Truman being Harry Truman for 8 years, or whatever it was. Maybe it was under 8 because I know he took over Roosevelt's.
Yeah, and I know not to mess with saying anything about Harry Truman because then he'll jump down my throat. That's right,
dumbass. Oh, man. No. Like I said, Francis, you got your bag of facts, and every now and then I got egg in my face, and I'm like, okay, I guess Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did write a Sherlock Holmes story. I had no idea.
I am telling Johnny,
that's the best one.
If you need me to solve the world's problems, I can't do it.
I can take this.
I can't do it. You need useless information. I got it. I know it.
I always think I'm like that. Again, we were watching the game shows the other night, and it was Steve Allen and his wife Jane Meadows, and I went to the washroom, and while I was in the washroom, Cam and his brother were looking up Jane Meadows, and they find these facts about her, and I come out, I'm like, the interesting thing about Jane Meadows, her parents were American ambassadors to China, and she grew up in China, and they both are like, yeah, we just read that online. Seriously, man, you got issues. And I'm like, yeah, I learned that years ago, and I just found that fascinating, man. Uh-huh. So, it's as I say, it's a curse and a blessing.
Right, yeah.
More of a curse. I won't deny it.
Because, game shows will be on, with Trivial Pursuit facts and crap like that, and, I'll rattle them off. And my wife is like, how do you know that?
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know. I just do.
My aunt that just passed away, who was in her 90s, when I was living with her and my uncle post-college, because my parents had passed away, and they took me in, in the struggle years of your 20s, and we would watch Jeopardy before I got a full-time job, and they're like, you should be on this show. And I'm like, no, not that. And they're like, but you got them all. You get a lot of these. I'm like, yeah, but I get a lot of them wrong, man. I'm like, I took the test. I didn't do that good. But they were impressed. And my uncle especially, who really did think I was a knothead until he saw me with Jeopardy, and he's like, you're really good at this. And I'm like, I pick up useless information. Exactly. What is Harold Pinter? Right. What is the Titanic? Yes. What is the chemical symbol for gold? Yes. All right.
You like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, where he watches Jeopardy all the time.
Oh, I didn't remember
the same
that
episode.
Oh, I don't remember that scene. No, I don't remember that.
It's the same day over and over again in Groundhog Day. So there's one scene where he's sitting there, and all the old people are sitting in the downstairs foyer of that house he's staying in, and he's just rattling off all the answers, and they're all like, they're like all in awe of him, It's like, I like this. Them all right.
I like the Seinfeld one with Kramer when he's doing it because they're so random. What is the cha cha cha? Yeah. and all you hear is the bell ding. Yeah. No, I love stuff like that. Or the movie Diner, and Kevin Bacon is watching.
Oh, I hated that movie.
Did you really?
Oh my gosh! I went to go see it in the theater, and I left.
Why?
I couldn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like when he got the popcorn and he had it.
Yeah, that's a stupid scene. That's a stupid scene.
That's what I couldn't take it anymore.
Well, dude. I swear to God, truly one of my all-time favorite movies.
Man, I don't know.
And my group,
maybe I got to watch it again or something. But
my group of high school friends, because a lot of those just stupid conversations you have, like we're having right now in a diner. Who do you make out to? When you want to make out with your girlfriend, who do you do it? Mathis or Sinatra?
Well, maybe that's
Mathis.
maybe that's why I didn't find it interesting at all, is because I wasn't in the conversation. I'm watching them having stupid conversation.
It made me laugh. I think Paul Reiser's really funny in it, and it's one of the few Steve Goodman movies. Isn't it Steve Goodman?
Steve Gutenberg.
Gutenberg. Thank you. I was going to say not Steve Goodman.
See, I knew that.
Well, Steve Goodman, I'm confusing. He's the old folk singer that passed away.
I know, but I know that Steve Gutenberg is in that movie.
There you go. Well, yeah, Daniel Stern from the Wonder Years, narrator of the Wonder Years, he's in it, and Ellen. What's her name? Ellen Barkin.
See, I know that
too. Breakout movie for Mickey Rourke. No, it's a great. I love that movie. It's a great movie. Honestly, I do. And it was really this like little movie that the studio didn't believe in. And Pauline Kael, the great New York film critic, is kind of one of the people that is like, oh, no, this is an exceptional movie. And it really had this like groundswell. And it never became a huge hit, but it was a cult movie. Barry Levinson wrote and made. And, it was part of his Baltimore films that include Avalon and Tin Men. Did you like Tin Men?
I did not.
See, and that's another one that's like, Tin Men is like Diner Part 2.
Right.
And it's like, because Diner's about the guys in their early 20s. And Tin Men is the same diner, but they're all in their 40s, and they're all... I
didn't realize it was the same diner, right?
It's absolutely, and in fact...
That's Danny DeVito, right?
Yes, and my favorite is Jackie Gale, one of the old, 50s stand-up guys, and he's talking about how he hates Bonanza. I don't think that's a real depiction of the Old West. He's like, first of all, you got a 50-year-old father. He's got 3 45-year-old sons. It's seriously, when he just goes on this rant about Bonanza, and he goes, how come you never hear one of them come back? There's no broads on that show. How come Hoss doesn't come in and go, I was in Carson City the other day, and I saw such an ass. And DeVito's fine, but Dreyfuss is great in that. Mr. Merengue. The guy does an amazing merengue.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. Nope. I love that movie.
Dislike that movie.
Oh God, that's all right.
Another movie with a tin in the title, Pushing Tin. I didn't like that one either.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. John Cusack and Angelina Jolie. I remember
that. And what's his face? Billy Bob.
There's the Tin Drum, a very famous foreign film.
There's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
yeah, not Tinker. I like the John le Carré movies and books for that matter. Good stuff. Alec Guinness, another great post Obi-Wan role for him on British television, and it came to American television in syndication. He was George Smiley, the same role that Gary Oldman plays in the newer movie of Tinker Tailor. They originally did it as a miniseries on British TV, and they also did a sequel called Smiley's People. And yeah, Alec Guinness was perfect for that role. He was amazing. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
These aren't the spies you're looking for.
Ooh.
You can't win, Darth. Good stuff, man.
I like him.
I'm telling you, I will rewatch that as clunky as the lightsaber fight with 80-year-old Alec Guinness looked. It's all the subtext. It really is, and I still love it. And when he sees Luke, and he's just got that knowing look of Darth, like, oh, you're fucked, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, sorry I'm dropping the F-bombs. But, yeah, that's just a beautiful moment. And it's just like, it tells the whole – I mean, that's the thing. And I love the fact that –
it was just such a good movie.
You know what I've noticed now? And again, I don't mean to get into, a lengthy thing, but I think we can cover this before you get too tired. It's interesting now watching both Superman or Batman v Superman or whatever the hell the title was, and even the Justice League, because now, well, more so Batman v Superman, but now you see those brief Justice League cameos, and you know the characters more from the second movie, and they still suck, but for some reason they've improved in my mind. Because of the subsequent movies. I mean, they totally screwed up in the order in which they've made these movies.
Yes.
And it is what it is. But it's funny now because now after even what we got of Aquaman in Justice League, when you see him with the trident just jabbing away and stuff like that, it's like, oh, now I know the guy, so now it's okay. And even the Flash, and I was not a big fan of the movie Flash, but again, it's like, okay, now I know the guy. So it's weird how it elevates the first movie a little bit more, and certainly Wonder Woman.
I've heard really good things about the Aquaman movie too. That it's like one of the best DC films. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Again, in the theater, I did see the most recent Aquaman trailer, and it looks amazing. Yeah. And I was going to say, Dark Phoenix looks really good too.
Yeah, I don't know, Johnny.
X-Men, Dark Penis.
Ooh, man.
That'll be the Triple X superhero parody.
I'm might be reading a little subtext into this, but I like how no one else is on the pod tonight except for me and you. And you've been swearing a lot.
Yeah, more. I know. It's a lot dirtier, I know. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. My kids are in the car. What's wrong with you? I'm sorry.
It's all right. I like it.
Ooh. Franco Clancos are always a little dirtier.
Dirty. Yeah.
I like them, I don't know, a little dirty. Steve Martin, my blue heaven. Yeah. Did you see the Steve Martin short live? Did you see it live? Did you go see it? I couldn't remember. Maybe
No, I saw it on the TV.
On the Netflix. Yeah. It was good.
Is there a new one?
No, it's the same one. I was just wondering if we had talked about it before. I didn't remember if we had or not.
It was old school. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, and they're just, obviously they work well together. They have good chemistry. Yeah. And I like them both individually. And, God, when's the last time you really thought about Steve Martin live performing? Martin Short's always out there. But to do an extended performance like that was really, it's like, oh, man.
Right.
Because, God, I even remember when they were promoting Three Amigos, and it might have been either on Donahue or Oprah, one of those shows, and somebody in the audience is like, Steve, God, we really miss you doing stand-up. Would you ever go back to that? And he said, and it's in his book as well, he's like, you got to understand, I really like it, what my final stand-up, appearances were a culmination of like 15 or 20 years of trying material and, taking stuff out and refining it and stuff. And he goes, so to really come back, he goes, it really would take like 5 or 10 years to really come up with enough stuff to like do another 90-minute show like that. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. And again, obviously he was making movies and more interested in doing movies at that point. So it's kind of cool that they have kind of come full circle and are live performing again.
Yeah. Well, they can't get the movie roles anymore.
Yeah, really. I got to be honest, not a fan of the Pink Panther movies, just because I'm such a Sellers fan.
Oh no, they're awful.
They were big hits in Europe.
The Steve Martin ones, really?
Yeah, that's why they made a second. Yeah, that's why they made a second one. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Now you know what I do like, and it's not that anyone else has played this. I have to confess, I like the Rowan Atkinson spy movies, the Johnny English movies. They're dumb. They are dumb.
There's a new one.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And I'm shrugging. I think they're funny. Because I really appreciate. I was never a Mr. Bean fan because I'm not a big pantomime guy.
Right.
But that said, I really
the Mr. Bean Christmas when he goes shopping in the department store and the little thing with the nativity scene. Man, I never laughed so hard in my life.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Watching that.
Well, I've been going down YouTube rabbit holes as I always do, and have been watching a lot of British comedy. And I was watching not necessarily the news, which was his sketch show that he was part of before he really broke through as a solo guy.
Rowan Atkinson?
Rowan Atkinson, yeah, and they're good. They're really good.
I remember not necessarily the news, but I don't remember him on it.
Well, there was the American version too.
Oh, that's probably what I'm. Yeah,
and that's that's the thing. A lot of times we'll get like crappy American knockoffs compared to what the really good British stuff. Like there was the British sitcom called Coupling, and Coupling was made by Stephen Moffat, who also was a big Doctor Who producer up until recently, and it was like, oh, Friends is really interesting. Let's see if we can do something like Friends, but not a literal. A copy of Friends. So they came up with Coupling, and Coupling was a very cute, 20-somethings all friends, show about relationships. And then they tried to do an American coupling, and it was horrible. And it's like, we already have one. It's called Friends, guys. What are you doing? But whatever. Again, I mean, the worst examples of that was when they tried to Americanize Fawlty Towers. And there was one with Harvey Korman and Betty White. They were the John Cleese and Prunella Scales of that.
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember this.
Oh, well, I think it was only a pilot. And then they did the one with B. Arthur after Maude, and it was called Amanda's Place. And she was
I remember.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, horrible. Horrible.
Wow.
See, this is what my Wall Street Journal buddy and I, it's like, let's find really bad TV. You know what's a terrible Sid and Marty Krofft show that has not aged well and now is incredibly inappropriate? Lidsville. The Butch Patrick, Charles Nelson Riley show with all the hats.
I've never seen it.
Oh, my God. It's like there's an Italian, like they're all hats as like puff and stuff kind of foam rubber characters and stuff live. It's probably little people or children actually running around, but they've got voiceovers of like all these characters, and they all are hats that you could ascribe to various nationalities. So there's a chef hat, and it's Italian, and there's a Native American bonnet, so it's an Indian, and there's a Chinese hat, and the guy's doing a bad Chinese thing, and they are like the worst, like, bad stereotypical.
Wow.
It's a really good, for the Italian guy, and it's horrible. And seriously, like, wow. And I like, I'm the first one that is throwing the flag down when there's retro shaming going on. And it is what it is, and it was of its time. And I'm not saying, oh, how dare they? That's horrible. But it is kind of like, yeah, awkwardly bad. Because, you watch now, it's like, nah.
Are those online?
They are. They're on YouTube. That's another YouTube rabbit hole to go down. I'm telling you, man. Do you remember, were you a Young Ones fan? The British 80s, like 20-something guys that were all living in the house?
No.
It was on MTV in the 80s. Very funny. Really like a punk rock sitcom. And there was a he was British, but he was of Russian ancestry. This guy, Alexei Sayle. And he was like one of the like funny guys on the show. And he had a sketch show in the 80s and then in the 90s. And I was watching those on YouTube, and I hadn't seen them in 20 years at least. And I was dying watching those because they're like good poor man's Monty Python kind of humor. I
didn't see any of those.
And I can't remember the name of the Netflix movie that came out like back in, I want to say 2014 or 2015. And it was Terry Jones of the Pythons, the last movie he directed, and Simon Pegg is the lead in it. Can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like aliens give Simon Pegg reality-changing powers, kind of like Bruce Almighty. Oh. And it's Rob Riggle is in it, and Kate. There's Beckinsale. Yeah, the brunette, not the blonde.
Beckinsale.
Okay, it is Beckinsale because the other one's Kate Bosworth, and she's the blonde. Yeah, she's like the love interest and stuff. Rob Riggle is in it, and the Pythons are in it. They play the aliens, and they're all CGI aliens, but they do the voices for the aliens and stuff, the living Pythons. And it was Terry Jones's last movie, and it got totally crapped on critically. But being a Python fan, there's some of those movies that's like, well, like Paul, the Simon Pegg movie. It's like, all right, not a perfect movie, but if you're a fan of that kind of humor, you like it. Or Run, Fat Boy, Run. I like that movie with Simon Pegg. I like Simon Pegg.
Apparently, yeah.
I pretty much like everything Simon Pegg does. I truly, Spaced was great, TV show. He's great as Scotty in the Star Trek movies. You think there's going to be a Star Trek 4?
I don't know.
You know about all that drama.
You would think they'd have to.
Not necessarily.
If they want to make the money.
Well, that's the problem. I don't know if they're convinced that they are going to make the money. And Paramount has made a lot of big-budget movies that were bombs. And they're like, of all the big studios, I think they're in the like most dire financial straits. And,
really?
I mean, their chairman is like, we want to make Star Trek movies because I think he understands that the franchise is still viable. But, they were lowballing Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, and they walked.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Oh, my God, yeah, it was awesome. Like, they were going to bring back Hemsworth as Kirk's dad and do a time travel thing that, he and his dad were going to have an adventure together. And then they tell him, they obviously, in the case of Pine, he's already under contract and he's supposed to make X amount of money. And they're like, yeah, we need you to take less money. He's like, well, then I'm going to take less movie. How about that? Yeah. And they're like, come on. And he walked. And the same with Hemsworth. They lowballed him. And he's like, yeah, guess what? I'm Thor.
Yeah.
I don't need this crap. Yeah. And he walked. So it's like, I just saw John Cho. What do you think?
So they're going to have the rest of the cast, but not Spock or Kirk.
No, well, you know what's interesting? I got to say, and I'll give him credit. Kevin Smith said, and I agree with him, it's like, let's make a Star Trek movie without Captain Kirk and have Spock in the chair. And it's like, why not? That might be interesting. And again, it's an alternate universe, so you could kill Jim Kirk if you want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I
don't disagree with him.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. So if they're able to do it, why not? And I know, everyone else is like, no, if they say yes, we're all in, except for Chris, but Chris and Chris. But I think that's interesting, and it's like, yeah, why not? And the Tarantino idea is still floating out there
about an R-rated Star Trek. Yeah.
Well, just letting him, guide a script. I don't even think he would necessarily direct, but I wouldn't mind seeing him, come up with an idea. And, thankfully, all the CBS Access stuff. Did you hear the Rick and Morty writer, one of the head writers of Rick and Morty, is going to do an animated Star Trek series?
I did hear that, yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And of course, the Picard series, the Pickard series. Is there a John Luck Pickard here? Remember that in Next Generation when it's Q? I'm excited. And Michael Chabon, obviously, part of that mix. So that I'm confident about. Because, as we said when the news first hit, I don't think Patrick Stewart's going to be in a crappy Star Trek. He's not going to let it be crap. If it's crap, he'll walk.
Right.
So.
I just find it fascinating that they have both TV and movie universes going on in the Star Trek realm. It's just it's a weird predicament with all that stuff.
Well, yeah, all the legal problems. Well, the word is that, and it's so stupid because Viacom and CBS split up a few years ago, which has created this weird, and Paramount has created this weird current status. And supposedly they're talking about all getting back together again, too. Let's get together, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, because I was going to say, we're about to get that with Star Wars with the Disney streaming, and we'll still have Star Wars movies, and we'll have Star Wars.
And they're canceling all the Marvel Netflix shows now.
Isn't that weird? I know. And also, they literally just announced that season 2, because it was probably already in production, of Punisher is coming out in January.
Right, because it was already in the can, yeah.
Right.
But I read somewhere, don't be surprised that soon after they announced there's not going to be a third season.
I still haven't watched season 3 of Daredevil.
I haven't watched finished season 1 of Daredevil.
Season 1's amazing, man. You'll love it. Honestly, it's great, and I have confidence that season 3 will be great as well.
Because people are talking like, oh, it'll go to the Disney next, streaming. And I'm like, no, because they got a deal with Netflix, and that's not going anywhere.
Well, that's what I wonder. Will that stuff just disappear from Netflix, or because Netflix funded it, will they in perpetuity stay on Netflix?
I don't know if in perpetuity, but it's going to be there for a while.
I'm for that because I'll be honest, I kind of to savor them and not just blow them all out.
Right.
I still have to watch Luke season 2. I still have to watch Jessica Jones season 2. Right. I still have to watch Iron Fist season 2, and that's fine because that gives me, I've got 30 hours of Marvel television to still get through at my leisure. And that's great because I've even Iron Fist. I heard obviously they righted the ship in season 2. It bums me out because I really do love Iron Fist as a character.
Yeah, me too.
How about all the Shang-Chi stuff, man? That China's like, hey, F you, we don't want Shang-Chi, and if you're not going to sell to China, you may not make it. But they were talking about making a Shang-Chi movie, and it's like, oh, the son of Fu Manchu, that character that we all absolutely despise. Because it's such a terrible stereotype, and it's like, wow, Yikes.
Okay, I'm lost here.
You didn't hear about this?
No.
They make the announcement. They make the announcement that a Shang-Chi movie is in development.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
And everyone's like, "Yay!" I mean, Shang-Chi's this incredible character. Well, you know, in the 70s, the conceit of the story was he was the son of Fu Manchu.
Okay.
Because they got the rights to license, just like they got the rights to license Conan in the 70s. They licensed the ability to use Fu Manchu. And again, this is the 70s, and it's certainly inappropriate now, the depictions of Fu Manchu.
Right.
But he represents. It's weird. And again, I'm not Chinese, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, but to me it would be like, well, he was like a Chinese Moriarty, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But again, the Chinese, at least there are Chinese nerd people that have made their point, and they're like, we don't want Shang-Chi because he's the son of Fu Manchu, and Fu Manchu is an insult to our culture, the way he was depicted back in the original Fu Manchu stories.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, so no, we don't want it. So I don't know what that means. And again, it's like, does Disney go through with Fu Manchu? Because China is such an important market when you're making these $200 million movies and stuff.
Well, they can always change the origin.
I would agree, but again, it's like, it seems like, unfortunately, the idea of Shang-Chi is tainted by Fu, at least according to these Chinese pundits that have spoken up, that it's like, no, we know the real story, we don't want it. And it's like, I don't know. I hope you're right, because I think Shang-Chi is a very decent, it's a good character. I think he's a good representation of Asian culture, and you don't have to have Fu. I mean, they've already changed it in the comics because they couldn't use Fu Manchu anymore anyway because they didn't have the rights. But God, Reggie Hudlin renamed Fu Manchu's father and kind of cleaned him up a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, it's always a minefield when you go back to this stuff and what flew in previous decades. And it's like, God, even Rocky and the Creed films, I think it was on Slate. There was a really good essay about how the Creed films have redeemed some of the bad racial overtones of the earlier Rocky films. And I forgot a bunch of scenes from, like, the first movie and stuff. Like, when Rocky's first watching Apollo Creed on TV, he's there with his bartender friend, and the bartender totally, like, throws out a black epitaph. Doesn't use the N-word, but it's not a nice word, and you could probably figure out, And Rocky does say, hey, what's wrong with you, man? This guy, put his ass on the line and gave his best shot, and now he's the champ. What shot have you ever taken? What risk have you ever put out there? But he doesn't go, that's a bad word, or it doesn't correct him. And there's a lot of God, in Rocky 3, Paulie is very racially insensitive, and he's like, he can't train to the jungle junk music, and that's like one of the tamer things that Paulie says. And but it's cool because they're like, he takes Adonis Creed in the Creed movies, and they're really, I mean, Creed calls Rocky Unk, like uncle. He's my uncle. And it's like they really do have that kind of relationship where he's really a father figure to Creed and everything. And that, he's it's good. It really does. It redeems. And also even Clubber Lang in this essay, they're like, yeah, Clubber Lang was a jerk, but he really was a self-made man. And when you see him training, he's totally just, nobody's helping him. He's doing it on his own. And it's like, this, he's the bad guy. And meanwhile, Rocky learns how to fight like Apollo and fights better than Apollo, I guess. And it's like, yeah, that's not cool either. It's like, yeah, I guess you're right, man. Jeez, I never really thought about it that way. But again, privileged white guy watching, what do I know? Right. And it was really interesting. But again, it's like the Creed movies really kind of redeem all that in a good way. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm telling you, these movies are fantastic.
We're going to have to watch them eventually.
Yes, sir. All right, I hear the low power in your voice. You want to wrap up?
Yeah, I think so, sir.
All right, buddy. Another Franco Clanco in the books. Follow us when you see us. Like we said, we're at least planning on a Superman 4 commentary, and I don't know I hope we do a holiday show. because I always enjoy those. And if not, certainly early in 2019, look for an in memoriam from at least Francis and myself.
Yes, we will do all of that stuff.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Yeah. I like Pink very much, Louis.
Come visit us soon. Follow us when you see us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye.